Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. And this one is our year-end best of special. So it is, let me introduce Mr. Rick is with us, and Biddy is with us. And
hi.
Yeah, say hello, everybody. Or not.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
What was that?
Do
Yeah.
you get lonely at night?
Please stop.
I bet.
yeah, just stop talking. Yeah, we have how many categories? 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 10 categories we're gonna go through and give our picks of the year, and then we have some listener picks to go over, and it's gonna be a fun time.
It's kind of nuts that it's the end of the year, though.
It's pretty insane.
Very crazy. And thank you to everyone who sent in your picks as well. We appreciate the what's the je ne sais quoi I'm looking for? The engagement. Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got our Spotify rap stuff. We put it on social media, but yeah, thanks to everyone who listened.
Yeah,
and
that was
who
awesome.
continues to listen, and it's been a fun year. So thanks for
absolutely fun year
and for socializing with us on everything but the bad site.
Yes.
Yes. And it is insane that, it just seems like we were like, oh my God, it's going to be Wembley in 2 months. And now it's like, oh, that was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It went so fast. It seemed like summer hit and then the year it's like Christmas.
Yeah. Time makes no sense to me.
Category number 1 is Best Men's Wrestler of the Year. And going through even by our submissions, it seems there's a lot of duplicate answers, but mine's on a little different. But I had Bryan Danielson. Not just because it was probably his last full year, but every match he had this year was off the chains. So that's about all I could say. It's just
Bryan
awesome.
Danielson as an honorable mention because he's the greatest wrestler ever. I love Bryan Danielson. So
agreed. Yeah,
every match he had was good because he's Bryan Danielson. My other honorable mention was Will Ospreay. Same reason. Not that he's the greatest wrestler ever, but every match he's had this year has been good. So you can't really vote against either of them. If anyone picked either of them for wrestler of the year, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah,
it was a majority of the submissions were Danielson and Ospreay. We had Bugsy Sig pick Takeshita, which I thought was I
love Takeshita. I wish that he was.
Oh no, I said that wrong. He picked Swerve. My fault. He was different. I was looking at the wrong thing. I also love Takeshita. Bugsy picked Swerve. He was one of the different
Swerve.
ones.
Swerve was actually my choice as well. So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun there.
I picked Swerve because, he's been in all my favorite stuff. Like everything that AEW has done this year that I've really liked, he's been in 90% of it.
He's crushed everything.
Fire.
He's crushed everything he has been put to.
And he truly became a star. Like Will Ospreay was already well known as one of the best wrestlers. Bryan Danielson was obviously already a star. Swerve was not a star until a year or two ago. So he truly established himself this year, I think.
Well, and it's funny. I saw something randomly today about, I completely forgot about how he was in a group with Brian Cage and some other dudes. I did not remember that at all.
Are you saying you don't remember Tattooed Face Man?
Yeah, come on. We have a whole bit on Tattooed Face Man. Yeah,
he's a legend.
Tattooed Face Man and Cole Carter are legends on this podcast.
Well, and I'm sure people are going to bitch about this, which, to be fair, come at me, but I didn't think about any of this. I wasn't even actually going to join tonight, but
we're cool that she wanted to hang out with us.
Yes, I can't get away from the mystique of these boys that I do this podcast with.
He went from hanging out with Parker Boudreaux and Tattooed Face Man and Brian Cage. No offense, Brian Cage he's improved a lot, fine.
Yeah,
but he went from them to he's just a megastar now.
Well, and that's
yeah.
To be fair, I don't remember a lot of the early stuff in the earlier part of this year because this year has been insane for me, but I completely forgot about all of that. However, I think Swerve is my best man's men's wrestler of the year. He freaking just took it and ran away with it, and he's so freaking cool.
And like when we go on later, we talk about like the best matches and the best angles and the best story. Like he's part of almost all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like I wouldn't argue with Danielson. Like if Danielson makes perfect sense to me, I feel like he's definitely up there. I would just put Swerve slightly ahead of him.
Swerve killed it.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, like you said, Swerve probably deserves it more because he came in. Not that he didn't have a name, but what was the name of his group? Hit Row. Yeah. Unless you watched NXT and knew what Hit Row was, like I didn't know. I knew Swerve other than he came from NXT. That was literally all I knew. So
when he debuted in AEW, I remember thinking, why does he even get a debut? To be honest, like wow. I thought he was just going to show up in like a match. Like they introduced him and had him sign a contract, and I thought that was a little much because I didn't know anything about him. I just like, but yeah, I was completely wrong. He's awesome.
And it turned out when they rehired Hit Row without him, it just wasn't the same.
Right, because why? How could it be? Like, he was their guy.
Yeah. Oh, imagine firing.
Firing Swerve. I don't know how you do that
for no reason.
Oh, and they tried to get him back. That's the thing. They like really were trying to get him back after he like caught a bit of fire, and he's like, "Nope, sorry, you missed out."
First of all, he handled that super well.
Yes,
he
unlike all the other people that they called, and everyone else was just like the Bobby Fishes,
like
who
Bobby
were just
Fish.
like, maybe I will go back. Swerve was immediately like, no. Swerve was immediately like, no, I have a contract. If you want to talk to me, talk to my lawyer. Oh, by the way, I'm letting my lawyer know you talked to me and I'm under contract and I'm not contacting you. Like he immediately handled it like you're supposed to handle it. But also the weird thing with this is that there's a lot of guys who, Triple H was in charge of NXT and then Triple H was no longer in charge of NXT and Vince McMahon basically fired all of Triple H's guys. And then Triple H came back and tried to rehire a bunch of them. Guys like Adam Cole, who didn't get fired but left, or Malachi, Aleister Black, like people like that. Andrade, he tried to get them back. Swerve wasn't a Triple H guy. Like I've heard Swerve talk, and
like he tried.
Triple H didn't even like him. Like Shawn Michaels liked him. He'd probably be doing well in current NXT, but like Triple H had no interest in Swerve told a story that he was like, oh, I want to talk to somebody about my career and how I can get better because I really want to make the main roster and what can I do? Can I book a meeting with Triple H? And Triple H was like, yeah, talk to someone else instead. Like he gave him a meeting with some other guy. He didn't even want to talk to him.
Imagine having Swerve at NXT to this day. Like, are you serious? Like,
yeah,
dude is obvious. Like,
to his credit, Shawn Michaels was the only one who talked to him. Shawn Michaels sat down with him and like watched a bunch of his matches and gave him tips. And was just like, this is what you should be. But like Triple H had no interest in. So even if you looked at current WWE, where certain people are being used better under Triple H than they were under Vince McMahon, I don't think Swerve would have been one. I don't think Triple H cared about him or saw anything in him for some strange reason.
Is an extremely smart man, and
he is.
He deserves everything he's getting.
Agreed. Totally.
He's awesome. He's great.
He was talking about, when you were talking about him being with Brian Cage and stuff, I saw an interview with him where he was talking about like they handed me stuff that wasn't main event level stuff. That was like, you're going to partner with Keith Lee, for example, which no one thought would work, and it worked. Or you're going to be in a group with Parker Boudreaux and Tattoo Face Man, and he took those all and made them good. He didn't like sit and pout or complain.
No, he's like, all right, I will work with whatever you give me. Here we go. And that's he's awesome. He's freaking fantastic. And
he had a bunch of setbacks. He had Tattoo Face Man, leave the company while he was in his group. He had Keith Lee get injured so that he had Keith Lee get injured so that he couldn't have his like blow off match with him. He had a bunch of weird he had when they went to London, not this year but the year before, and what's his name? The guy beat up and turned on. He's in a group now. I can't remember his name.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Lucha Underground guy.
AR Fox.
AR Fox, that's it.
Oh.
He had AR Fox on his side, and then he immediately turned on AR Fox. AR Fox didn't like get a visa to fly to London or something like that. So they had they had to change up the team. Yeah, like Swerve had a bunch of weird stuff happen to him where it could have derailed his career.
You might say Swerves with the punches.
Oh,
yes, very good.
Wow, no, I forgot about a majority of that stuff.
There was so many times that he could have had his career derailed by like weird pushes or people leaving or whatever. And instead of like, bitching about it or getting down about it,
he jumped. Yeah. He Swerve's my men's wrestler of the year.
He's the best. He rules.
Yeah, no complaints there.
And like Danielson is Danielson. Like Danielson is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. He's
awesome, but I'm going Swerve for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. We gave the best men's wrestler, the best female wrestler. I mean, that has to go to Toni Storm. That's who I gave it to.
Yeah.
And so did everybody else, I believe.
Yeah, I'm thinking Toni Storm. The only reason I was skeptical of giving it to Toni Storm is because she's been gone for a long time.
Okay.
But the part of the year that she was there was, she was the best.
Well, she's doing her whole I'm leaving the wrestling and stuff. But that little promo I tore my labia and I stole this dog from the dog park. Like it just
I want to know how she comes up with this. I really want to know how she does she sit down and write down these ideas? Does she just think of them on the spot? Like I want to know.
That has to just be off the top of her head. Because it's
when
so absurd.
When she would do commentary and just go when she randomly would talk about like Wendy Richter and stuff. I love her.
She if she really doesn't want to wrestle anymore, which I know it's a thing, but she's hilarious. She could probably do stand up or something.
She's the best. I love her.
She really is.
My only other option. Well, I had two other options.
Okay.
The person I considered for West Women's Wrestler would be Chris Statlander.
That was actually
solid choice. She had a heck of a year.
She's been in some of my favorite matches this year. Favorite women's matches for sure.
That was who popped up in my head first, but only because of recency bias. But
I felt like there was a bit of recency bias because she's done so well recently.
Yeah,
but she's been great.
She's stupid dope.
And then my honorable mention, I have an honorable mention, is Willow Nightingale because she's been awesome too.
Again, another solid year. And again, you can't go wrong with any of those.
Well, and an honorable mention for me was Mariah May. I mean, she's killed it too.
A few people picked Mariah May. Hold on. Joe Hanston from Blue Sky picked Mariah May, and someone else did. Hold on. Maybe not. Nope. All the rest of Toni Storm. There you go.
So. Mariah May is kind of like Swerve in the sense that she made herself a star this year.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
I'm not a huge fan of the follow. I like the stuff they're doing now with Mina, but there was in between taking the belt from Toni and recently she kind of did nothing for a little bit, which is fine.
I feel like that's a valid criticism of AEW. Once the chase is over, they don't know what to do with it after that.
Yeah, there was a article I read. I forget where it's from now. I sent it to both of you guys. I forget where it's from, but it was an article that basically said that. And it's not, I wouldn't even say it's an specific AEW problem.
Right.
I think it's a wrestling problem.
Right. It's just hard. How do you continue the story after you finally, you hit the climax, the chase? It's storytelling. Okay, they finally, what do you do after that?
This is where I think AEW does it right, as in they let people take time off. So unlike other places where people just kind of sit around, Mariah May, she won the belt. And I mean, she did promo stuff, but she wasn't at every show. She didn't have to be after the chase, let people rest, and then start a new one. And I think I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. It's a wrestling trope. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, I think
they're trying to change that with the time
is
off.
Still trying to learn how to do the what do you do after the chase, reaches its climax and comes to a conclusion. What do you do after that? And
I agree with Blasco with the time off thing. I did see someone on Reddit today say that AEW first and foremost will be a company that cares more about letting the wrestlers do what they want, and they do let you take time off. Like if you're just, it's not
as
like
they should.
It's not like the olden days where like if you took time off, you just lose your spot. You're not in the main event anymore. Like they don't do that anymore, which is great.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, and it blows my mind. Like even people taking, like right now, Shelton Benjamin, I think he's in Cancun. Like the fact that they don't make them like, oh, we're in Louisville, Kentucky tonight, and tomorrow we're doing 2 shows in Phoenix. Like,
yeah.
The fact that they just like, okay, as long as you're at TV, we don't care what you do during those other times.
Okay. Side note, I can't believe that guy's like 50 years old.
I know.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
The best part of that, the time off that AEW giving people time off, is that now WWE does it too.
It forced their hand.
They kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Like
because like everyone's like, well, I'm gonna go work there where you don't have to work 7,000 days a year. I don't care if I'm on TV or not.
Workers' rights.
Like, yeah. Like now in WWE, you get to work like 2 days a week, 3 days a week, not 7. Right?
Oh,
like
let's not bleed every bit of blood out of these people. It makes a better show. Imagine that.
Have you ever seen like the wrestlers from the 80s talking about their schedule? And half the time, like WWE would do 3 house shows in a day, and it wasn't all the same guys on 3 house shows.
Of course,
like
they were all roided up and on cocaine and stuff. You'd have to
because
be.
You'd have to do a show in one town at like noon, and then drive for 2 hours, and then do another show at 3, and then drive for 3 hours, and then do another show at 8, and then
they didn't pay for it either. Like
no.
Oof.
There's a really good clip online of Kevin Nash talking, and that was in the 90s. Like this was like it wasn't even the worst then, but Kevin Nash talking about how they would rent a car in like, I can't remember the states, but they would rent a car in like Connecticut, and they would drive it to like Arizona and stop off at towns along the way and like wrestle, and then get back in the car and drive to the next city, and then like it was nuts.
Well, and it's great that it's not like that now, but you still have for example, Mox would still do that kind of stuff in the indies.
Oh yeah.
And
I feel like Mox kind of wishes it was like that again, because he, just for him, not for everybody else. But
it's not like that now, but like he's again the typical millennial where it's the bridging of old school and new school, and we're in the weird transition of that. But yeah, it's like the kids have it better nowadays thanks to the pain that all the old guys and girls went through. But
for sure.
But I also feel like Mox and those people like, no, we don't want it to be like that now. That's why it's like it is now, because we did not like it, and we've made it better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, half the people died by the time they were Mox's age.
Exactly.
And the other half that made it to be old can't move now.
Exactly.
You can't be surprised by like people dying at 40 or 50 if like they're wrestling 3 times a day and on coke the whole time.
Coke and steroids,
and vodka. Like, what did you do? I drank 4/5 and did 9 lines of cocaine.
When the Undertaker is just like backstage, the kids these days, they're just playing video games and on their phones the whole time. They're not like us. I'm like, no, because backstage in your day, they were doing cocaine and dying.
You're right.
Like that's what
they're
doing.
doing cocaine while shoveling a 5th of vodka in their mouths and doing steroids, like
all at the same time.
And you wonder why everyone around you died.
Yeah, it's a little bit better that they're on their phones instead.
Yeah,
agreed.
Like, oh
anyway,
God, they're playing Call of Duty. How dare you? Sorry.
We're off topic, but yes. Mariah May, Toni Storm, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander. Anyone else?
Nope, that's all. And that was all the
I'm going Toni.
The write-ins too.
Yeah. Toni.
Yeah, I also
she
picked Toni.
Freaking crushed it. She crushed it and plus some.
Yeah, for sure.
The best group of the year, which could be a tag team, a trio, or an entire faction, as we said. I picked the Outrunners just because they are the new Acclaimed.
I didn't even think of them, but yeah, I like the Outrunners. That's a good one. I didn't think of them, but yeah. And
just because, 4 months ago, no one knew who they were. Yeah. Well, unless you watched Ring of Honor.
So you knew who they were.
I definitely knew who they were. I've been a Truth Magnum guy for about a year. Dude slays.
I remember, weren't they on an episode of Dynamite like a year and a half ago?
Yeah, they were.
I remember seeing them on one episode and you being like, these guys rule. And I loved them. And then they weren't on again for like a year.
Yeah. I forget what they were on for. Like, they was like an open challenge or something for a tag team. Yeah.
But this was a hard one for me because this was a bad year for groups and teams, I think.
Agreed.
It wasn't a good year for tag teams. It wasn't a good year for trios teams. Like, even for there's a lot of factions, but none of them really stood out, in my opinion. Weird one that I'm going to go with. My official choice is no one, for the record, because I think no one did it. Not that anyone did badly. I just think AEW hasn't featured them well enough.
I feel they definitely seem to be focusing on it now way better. But they definitely lost the plot for a bit.
They really lost the plot for tag teams.
Well, especially
most of the year.
With the momentum and stuff that the Acclaimed had, and it just went nowhere.
That is another example of AEW needs to know. Not only does AEW need to know what to do when someone wins a title, they need to know what to do when someone loses a title.
Yeah, it's...
And those are things. Like, they're not obvious things. I get it. But like the Acclaimed, like, they were huge, and then
they're very not now.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of shocking to watch. Like, as some people complain about, I don't watch everything because I'm an adult and have a life. No offense, Blasco.
Whatever. I don't care.
But I like seeing them in that four-way at what was the last thing? I don't even remember. Full Gear. Like, they get nothing now, and I'm like, what? Like,
they were huge. Yeah,
they were huge, and I feel like it was just maybe a year ago they were huge, and now it's
heading towards a split. But even now, because they've teased the split for so long, I don't think the split will even matter that much.
Yeah, it's AEW definitely has. They can do some stories really well, but they definitely still have some problems with storytelling.
I think it's with follow-ups. It's a lot with follow-ups.
Yeah. They don't know how to sustain momentum.
Yeah. My other choice for group after no one, I have two. Gotcha. One is one that surprised me because I didn't care about them at all for a long time, but it's the Don Callis family. I like them now.
I've come around on them too. I hated myself when I cheered Callis on Wednesday. I was like, God damn it.
He's good. Like, he's good.
So good. He's so good.
God. The boos, I like that. Just, actually, you know what? That's it.
Whatever that first city was that booed him nonstop. Town, I forget where it was. One town where he was, they just booed him like crazy. And then everyone's done it since. It's amazing.
And the fact that he gets it, like, they were chanting F Don Callis while he's on TV commentary. How good are you at being a heel when they can't even hear you speak?
That scar on his head, I think he makeups.
He embellishes it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he has like a slight scar, but he like draws red on it to make it worse.
He makes it look horrible.
Yeah.
That thing still looks like it was done like a month ago.
and when that happened, I think he broke, like, Mox threw him into a camera, and I think he broke the camera lens with his head.
Yeah, I think it was a legit injury,
it was legit.
Injury, yeah.
But he definitely makeups it, like,
for sure. It's
and that's the kind of little detail I really appreciate. Like,
what I really appreciate about Don Callis is he has. We've talked a million times about how Mick Foley said you can't just berate your opponent because then if you beat them, all you do is beat a loser.
Right.
Don Callis will go out of his way to say, like, Will Ospreay's a great wrestler. He's a talented wrestler, but Kyle Fletcher is better than him.
Right.
He doesn't beat him down and say he's a loser and a nobody.
Yeah. He builds up all the opponents, like, he builds them up. He's like, oh yeah, he's great at this and great at that, but yeah, oh no, Don Callis is wrestling perfection.
He's great. Yeah. And my only other option, and it seems like kind of a cheat because they're new, is I love the Hurt Syndicate.
They're so good.
And
that's where I want Max Caster. That's all I ask for in life.
I want Max Caster and I want Mercedes there.
They need Mercedes too.
I think they do an awesome job there.
And what did you think about Leo Rush and actually Andretti turning on Top Flight? I think that could be a connection to Hurt Syndicate too.
I would hope so, because that would be cool. Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley work really well together. So that would be really cool.
That's Andretti and Lilo would be a freaking dope tag team too.
Well, they're officially a tag team now.
Oh, are they?
Now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were tagging in Ring of Honor for a while.
Oh, okay.
But when they were both in that Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, they had the matching gear on and everything, and they even said that they're officially. But like it's been like 3 months they've been tagging on Ring of Honor. But
I want to say my favorite thing about the Hurt Syndicate is they haven't complicated the story. Like there's we're here on behalf of whatever to defend AEW or attack AEW. Yeah. No, there's no like we're here to we're here to hurt people and win titles. That's it.
And make money.
That's the story. And of course, that's what the story should be. 90% of the time, like if you're treating this like a sport, people are in the sport to win money and win championships, and that's it.
Oh, and to be fair, there's a lot of criticism about these WWE guys coming in and stuff, but man, they've crushed it.
Yeah, I think I said this last week that this idea of like WWE guys versus non-WWE guys or whatever. Once I know that probably the locker room feels a certain way, because if you've been with this company for years and these other people just walk in and get pushes or whatever, maybe some people resent it. I don't know. But as a fan, I don't care at all.
No. I mean, these people, WWE rejected them, and they have a place to go now, and they deserve it because they're freaking dope.
And a good job. Like if you showed up and you were like half-assing it, and treading off your name or whatever, sure, fine. I would get being upset, but they're not. Right. Like they're doing an awesome job.
They're crushing it. They're awesome. Gee, I did not watch WWE since 2001, so I didn't know S about F, but and of course when I heard the Hurt Syndicate was coming, I read up a little bit about them, but damn, they're freaking dope. Like Bobby Lashley is what, like in his 40s, and Shelton Benjamin is 50. He's literally 50 years old.
They're insanely crazy good they're insanely good athletes. Like look at these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
It's so cool that
50 years
it's so cool
old.
that they came in together. Very rarely does a faction get to come in together.
Right.
And the way they brought them in was cool too.
Yeah. Like even like the Undisputed Era guys. Like Adam Cole came in, and then Kyle O'Reilly, and then Bobby Fish or whatever. Like they didn't all come in together.
Right.
Right. The fact that they all got to come in kind of at the same time as part of the same angle, part of the same storyline, has been really cool.
So good.
And they clearly did that on purpose because
absolutely.
Shelton Benjamin got released, and then Bobby Lashley was like, "Well, then I'm not resigning." And MVP was like, "Yes, I will also not resign." And then
they were solid. They were like, "Nope, we got somewhere else to go finally." So and we're gonna and they're killing it, and I love that.
They're doing great.
I love it.
And it was awesome that they stood up for Shelton. Like that you can do that now. You know what I mean? Like he got fired and they felt that there was still more that the group could have done. So like, okay, I'm just not going to resign then.
Well, I said, I didn't know anything, but I am so just in awe of Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. Like what?
And if anyone's upset that they're like in main stories, like where else would you put them? Like
they should be. They're amazing.
And second of all, I think I said this last week, no former WWE guys or New Japan guys or anybody, no one's going to come to AEW if you don't respect them for who they are.
Right.
100%.
Well, that's
otherwise you're WWE under Vince McMahon, who are like, yeah, you were a star in another company, but you're nothing here. Like that's
right.
Like
stupid.
Sting.
If you're salty, then you better step up. That's the thing. That's what I feel like. If you're salty about it, you better step up. Right. And there have
been roster is huge, but there's opportunities for people, and if that don't just sit and bitch about it. Step up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And the people who have stepped up are reaping the benefits. The people who haven't, sorry, you didn't step up. You had your opportunity.
That's the other thing about AEW is if you do well, they reward that.
And that's, Swerve, Swerve is the perfect example of that,
And Tony Storm, because like Tony
Storm especially.
Tony Storm's gimmick on just explaining it is a stupid ass gimmick. Like it's a dumb gimmick.
Yeah.
But she made it so good that it's awesome.
Talk about someone who stepped up. That's the thing. Like AEW gives you the platform. Like, yes, we're getting these former superstars from WWE step up.
Right.
And the people who haven't, and then they get a little salty or whatever, but
and I
the
get
people
that
who have,
I get that it's harder because in WWE they write a lot of your stuff for you and they script a lot of your stuff for you, and that's good for some people.
Right.
But
when you're seeing the people who have failed to step up and who have taken
there are some people who are like they don't want to write their own storylines, they don't want to write their own promos, they don't want to come up with their own gimmicks, and sorry, but then AEW is not going to work for you. Like that's not the company it is. You probably do better in WWE, and that's not a knock on either of them. Like it's just a different way of doing business.
But man, the people who have been given the opportunity, oh man, they have stepped up and ran with it, and it's so fun to watch.
Well, speaking of stepping up, we have match of the year for both genders now coming up, don't we?
Yes.
Speaking of which, brief side note, I want to say I love that Hangman Adam Page is the only one who calls it the men's world title.
It's the greatest thing
it's
ever.
Awesome.
I love
it.
Amazing. Yeah, I love
because
it.
They should. Why is it the world title and the women's world title? It should
exactly.
It should be the men's world title and the women's world title, and I love that he does that.
It is amazing. This one I had a little bias for, but I picked Ospreay versus Ricochet because I was there, and it was incredible because I was there.
That's fair.
It was between that and McGuinness and Danielson because I thought I'd also never see that. It wasn't the best match of the year, but that was just something I like.
And it was a really good match. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful, but I never in a million years that I think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My match of the year it's not the best match, like in terms of wrestling skill. There are better matches but in terms of just the feeling and everything, Danielson versus Swerve from All In. I loved it.
Awesome.
I thought it was a great match. I liked the storyline around it. I liked Danielson can do everything. He can be a heel, he can be a face, he can be an underdog, he can be lovable, he can be a dick. Like he can do it all. And
he can do it in the same match.
Yeah. And he did that. The thing when he's like Swerve is attacking him and he's like looking at his family going, I love you, and chanting like awesome. Incredible. So good. That match, usually I never want to get spoiled for anything. And I watched All In late and I didn't get spoiled for the whole show, but I found out like as I was watching that Danielson was going to win that match just because I saw it online. And normally I'd be annoyed, but that match I was just like, no, it's going to be a good match no matter what. And knowing that Danielson won didn't change the match. It was still a great match. I loved every minute of it. It was amazing.
Yes, I totally agree.
My favorite match.
It was super fun to watch. I'll go with that. I cannot remember basically anything that happened before like August, so
all good.
But that was dope. I loved watching. I did. I was like, yeah.
And it needed to happen.
That got me jazzed up. Yeah.
And it needed to happen. Like Danielson needed to win the AEW title because you can't have Danielson in your company and not have him win the title. And
especially, you heard since he started, like, I don't want to win the title. Right. I don't want it. But
no, I feel like Tony forced it on him and he should have. And it was the perfect time. It was the perfect stage. It was a huge stadium. It was great.
Yeah. Tony's like, dude, man. Especially after the CM Punk shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, best women's match.
Best women's match is simple. That's Toni Storm and Mariah May at All In.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that, but that was a good match.
Yes.
It was a really good match. It was a really good angle.
Yep.
Everything about it was great. Yeah.
That's mine.
What did you have, Ricky?
I had a tie.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
It's Statlander versus Willow in that lights out. Was it lights out match? What was it actually?
Yes.
Was it lights out, right?
Yeah.
And then I heard Mercedes versus Chris Statlander from Full Gear, because that was good too.
That Full Gear match was freaking dope.
This is why I picked Statlander as my I wanted to pick Statlander as wrestler over the year, because like these matches both ruled and she was in both of them. And the Toni Storm match I forgot about, it was great too. But Stat was awesome. The stuff with Willow was a perfect for me hardcore match, because it was violent. There were moments when you were cringy, but it wasn't too violent and it wasn't too cringy. It was like the right amount of violence.
Agreed.
And then the stuff with Mercedes, that was both of their best matches.
I actually, that Mercedes and Kat, or I always want to call her Kat, Chris, that was a freaking great match. Well, and I'm glad that the internet also seemed to agree. Like, that was one of the best matches from Full Gear. And
it was really good.
It was so good. Like, I didn't watch WWE, so I don't have the love for Mercedes like everyone does. And it's been a bit disappointing I guess, with her.
I agree. She needed that match. She needed a really good match like that.
Showed me why everyone pumps her up so much. That was amazing. That was a fantastic match.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it was great. That I was like, oh, now I get it. That was the match. I was like, okay, now I get why Mercedes is so dope.
Yeah, and they're like perfect opponents for each other, because Chris is really big and strong, and Mercedes is the greatest at selling.
Yeah,
she's the greatest at selling I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness.
She looks like she died every single time she gets thrown or dropped. Like it's
like,
and she's a smaller woman.
Body slam.
Yeah.
But she looks like she legitimately gets hurt all the time.
Right. But the thing about her is when she does her offense, she looks sick. Like,
right.
Like, yeah, I think, yeah, it was Full Gear or Chris. I know. Chris and Mercedes.
What did the internet, what did our followers tell us?
For the best women's match, we have there aren't many that picked best.
What about best men's match? We didn't do that one either.
Not any of the people didn't pick those. They picked their male and female wrestlers of the year, their feud of the year.
Oh, okay, they didn't pick those matches. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
they had match of the year, which we will get to. Oh wait, we can do.
They just did. That's what we're talking about. I didn't gender it online.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, they all picked men's matches. That's
fine.
Essentially match of the year. Match of the year is all.
Of course they did.
That's what it's.
I saw a lot of Danielson Ospreys in there. That was a really good match.
Yeah, Danielson Osprey. And there's one. Okay, I'm gonna. Experian Lannister's child picked.
Wow.
Blood and Guts, Team AEW versus Team Elite.
All right.
And Experian Lannister, him or herself, chose Sting's retirement match.
That was a great match.
That was this year. Oh.
That was this year. That was great.
And there's one more. I'm sorry. Neon Ghost chose the Osprey Ricochet Takeshita match, which was badass.
That was dope as well.
That was really good.
Yeah.
There was a lot. AEW every year you could pick 10 matches that were match of the year, and you can't argue. Like you could pick any of them, and they could all work. Like
apparently tonight on Rampage, the Okada C2 match is like blows the roof off the place.
I love how Rampage is basically canceled at this point, and now Tony Khan is like, you know what? I'm gonna put good matches on it.
Let's throw Okada and have the best match of the goddamn year on it.
Well,
okay, here we go.
Then we'll cancel Rampage.
Yeah,
the whole show this week is
dying.
just
You know
C2.
what? Let's just throw it on.
Yeah, Rampage is just 3 C2 matches. It's awesome this week.
I'm sorry. I'm
still not going to watch it, but
I
same
don't
here.
have enough time in the.
Well, it starts in 15 minutes, and we're only about halfway done here. So.
I don't know, but
All right. Best feud or angle.
Best feud or angle. I'm boring. It was Tony and Mariah. That nothing beats that.
Yeah, it was.
I have two. I have that one because it was great, and I have Swerve and Hangman because it was also great.
I was gonna say it was either Tony and Mariah or Swerve and Hangman. I mean,
they were both great stuff,
and that's what the listeners said too. It was all Hangman, Swerve, and Mariah, Tony.
I think I think those are a very valid tie.
Yeah. What did you guys have? What did you guys have?
I didn't have anything.
I had both of those. I just had those two. So.
Oh, okay.
They were both great angles. They were both great storylines. They both ended up in good matches.
And they both had great payoff.
They were both great. They were 100% great storytelling.
One had arson. I mean, geez.
One had high heel in the eyes and stuff.
Yeah. Yes. And I love that they're continuing right now with Mina. I like how that's going too. That's going to be fun.
That was a cool little transition. It makes me think real quick. Is she officially signed?
No, and I feel like that's why the Mariah May stuff she did nothing for 2 months. I think they're waiting for Mina to be available.
Okay,
that's because she's still in Stardom, but I think she's on Excursion now, kind of like what's his name was.
Ishii was.
Ishii. That's it. I think she's here for a couple months.
Okay, so we're excuse the pun, but we're in full gear now with them too. She's going to be here weekly.
Yeah, I think she's going to be here for a little while.
I think she's going to be here for a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if whenever her contract runs out, she just signs. Because it feels like a Will Ospreay or an Okada where they're eventually going to show up.
The people love her.
Yeah,
I was randomly reading something else, and they're like, "Jesus Christ, people love Mina."
They do.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
She's great because she's obviously English is not her first language. Her English isn't outstanding,
but she still can cut a promo.
She can still cut a promo, and she can still do a great job. She's still good at it.
Yeah. Well, all right. This is not on our little list, but biggest bitch about AEW this year.
Oh, that is on the list.
Is it? Oh, okay. I'll save it. Oh,
that's at the
end
of the list.
That's at the end of the list. We have a lot of. There's going to be a lot of rants at the end of the show. I think
until that time.
The end of this show is going to be a lot of rants. I feel so. Yeah.
The best show of the year. I chose Dynamite 5-year again because I was there and it was really cool.
Yeah, that's fair. Poor Biddy.
I was supposed to. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Biddy had boyfriend bought tickets for it and he was excited. He's like, I don't even like wrestling, but I'm really excited to go to this.
That's what you get for trying to be youthful and then breaking your leg.
Yeah, and then I broke my goddamn leg and couldn't go.
Still could have went. You could have called. You could have done it. You could have taken care of that.
Anyway, 100%. Let's move on. My choice for best show. My choice for best show was All In. I thought it was great.
It was a wonderful show.
It had the Danielson match that we talked about. It had the Mariah May Tony Storm match that we talked about. It felt like a big deal. The first All In was cool because it was the first one, and oh wow, AEW is going to fill a stadium. That's awesome. But this was the first one that felt like this is their big show. This is where all their big storylines happen. This is where all the cool stuff happens. This is where the best matches are. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
What did the listeners pick?
That was not on the list.
Oh, okay. I forget what I asked.
Yeah.
We're really good at this. You're welcome.
Honorable mention while we're talking about best show of the year.
Go ahead.
Is Revolution. Sting's last match.
Yeah.
The whole show, not just Sting's last match, but the whole show was good. I was looking at that. That had Christian Cage and Danny Garcia. It had Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. It had Tony Storm and Deonna, which was great. Ospreay versus Takeshita, which was great. Samoa Joe against Hangman and Swerve, which was great. And then
I forgot about Joe.
I forgot about Samoa Joe till I read this.
Wow, like Joe should be coming back.
He got fired from WB twice
in 1 year.
Christ.
In 1 year.
Well, in like 3 months, if we're being.
He got fired, rehired, and then fired again. My favorite thing with Samoa Joe is every time he comes on, whenever JR is doing commentary, JR comes on and goes, "Who wouldn't want him in their company?" Like, JR's mad about it. JR's actively mad about it. It's great.
Hell yeah, brother.
And it's great.
It is.
I love it.
It is. JR is awesome.
JR's the best because he no longer cares. He just says whatever he wants to say. It's awesome.
He's the old ass boomer who doesn't give a F about anything.
Great. It's great.
Well, on to the next. This one is a fun one. It was the best thing AEW has done this year.
Did we do Breakout Star, or is that at the end?
That's at the end.
All right, go ahead.
Or do you want to do Breakout Star then Best and Worst?
Breakout Star was after Best Show.
All right,
I'm looking at the list.
Let's do Breakout Star now because we'll do Best and Worst at the end.
Okay. Breakout Star of the Year, I have 3.
All right.
I have Billy Starks because she won the initial Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship.
Sure she did. I'll trust you.
It's 100% true. And
bless you.
Second, I have Red Velvet, who beat Billy Starks for the women's TV title, Ring of Honor, and she finally.
We all know that, of course.
Yes, and she's finally has something. Like, remember how we always said back in the day, like, that she was good, but she just didn't have.
She was always missing like any sort of character.
Yeah, well, she has one now, and it's amazing.
That's good.
And my final ones are the Outrunners because they started on Ring of Honor, and now they're if AEW has main roster and not main roster, you could say they went from the beginner show to the main roster, and I thought that was cool.
They've been great. I agree with all of that. I don't watch ROH, but I agree with all of that. She's not really a breakout star because she's already well known. I had Statlander again because she's elevated herself this year.
Yeah, totally.
And then my other choice is Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah,
as it should be.
I'd say
he's had an awesome year.
Yeah. I'd say Mariah May or Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, Mariah May's another good one.
Mariah May talk about a breakout.
Yeah, she was another person who, when she signed, I'm like, I heard of her. I know people said she's good, but I don't know anything about her. And she had an awesome year for sure.
And she's like 25, literally.
She's really young. Yeah.
No, that's Mariah May's my breakout star.
Yeah.
No complaints there. Okay, now the fun ones.
All right.
We're gonna do the best. Excuse me, the best thing AEW has done this year.
All right.
Mine's simple. It was really just got back to basics and be what they initially were, just an alternative. They're not trying to be anything other than that, and they just got back to being what they were and who they are, and it came back around. And at least for the foreseeable future, I think they're going to stay this course. And of course, I mean, you do have to make changes with your business, but for now, they're back to they're back on track to what they were before hiring somebody who didn't work for 7 years.
I agree that they're back on track. That's why I want them to shut up about it.
We
talked about this last week.
Like
stop saying we destroyed the feeling. AEW is back. Shut up. You did it. Stop talking about it now. Just go move on. Like, you're doing great. Like, AEW's done great this year. I've liked this year, which is, I said to you guys before we started, like, I have a lot of a worst thing AEW's done this year, and it seems weird because I really enjoyed AEW this year. I thought they did a great job. I think they are back on track, so stop talking about how you need to get back on track. Every angle doesn't have to be, we have to fix AEW. No, you don't. It's fine. Like, just keep going. Just
stop addressing that bullshit and just move on. Like, you've got great things.
I am going to talk about this later, but I do feel like the stuff that happened with Punk and everything is like still stuck in their head a little bit. Where they're like, no, we're fine. I'm like, no, we know you are. Stop talking about it. Like, just go on. Yeah.
I think the best thing AEW did this year was the stuff with Danielson. Like, it was it was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
damn, it was all in. It was so freaking amazing and stuff. And then, yeah,
Yeah. That I have a slightly related one to that. My favorite was everything they did with the end of Sting's career.
Yeah, that same.
That was perfect.
I think that was the perfect end for his career. They did an amazing job.
They had to deal with two legends ending their careers at the same time, and they fucking crushed it.
They did it perfectly. They handled it like they
perfect.
Again, WWE would have jobbed Kurt Angle out to Baron Corbin and to end his career, right? Like they would have done something stupid. And AEW, maybe not current WWE, but historic WWE.
Right.
AEW did both of their retirements, which Sting is totally retired, but Danielson, I'm gonna come back and wrestle. Whatever.
Yeah.
They did both of them beautifully perfect.
Yeah, they really did.
Like great.
And then my only other thing
out of the park.
was I like that they're bringing in long-term stories. Like they're bringing Swerve and Hangman that lasts a long time. Mariah May and Tony Storm last a long time. The stuff with Mox goes. I like that they have stories that develop over time. Hangman going crazy, and then
they are taking their time with the stories. They're not trying to wrap everything up. They're not giving into the TikTok, Instagram, ADHD. I need everything to me now in like 2 days. Yeah. Type of stuff.
I have a lot of negatives. Get to that one.
Oh yeah, here we go. All right, everyone, tune out if you don't want to be sad.
If you're one of those people who thinks, first of all, if you're one of those people who thinks you can't criticize AEW because then it means you don't want AEW to exist, that's stupid. I'm not saying I don't want AEW to exist. I love AEW. I have a podcast about it, so I obviously like it.
Obviously, we really love it.
But it doesn't mean everything they do is perfect. And none of this is like, I hate the company, I want them to fold. Like Dak's always like, you're going to take money away from my daughter. Shut up. No, I'm not. I'm just complaining about your show. Like that's
side note, wrestlers are whiny. God damn. They're
all giant babies. 99% of wrestlers are giant
well,
babies.
And it
100%.
We're hockey fans as well, and a lot of those guys are babies too.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
It feels very hand in hand.
Yeah.
Little I'm a tough guy, and also
but you better not question anything.
My ego is so fragile, and I'm sad.
Yeah. Okay, start Blasco.
Right,
you're the positive one, so you start with your negative.
Oh,
and Betty will destroy everything.
I just have 2 words. You need better production and less Jericho. That's all. That was my worst things they did.
The production stuff is weird. I sent you guys a thing earlier that Paul London was saying that like the fake hallways.
Yeah.
I get it that they're fake walls. Obviously, Chris Statlander or whatever is not throwing someone through an actual wall. No one thinks that. But like, try maybe to make it look a little bit better. Like the one when Chris Statlander threw the wall, that was obviously a hallway that they just put a wall in front of.
No, it wasn't even that. It was they had a little gap in the wall and they stuck like wallpaper or something through it. Like,
and my favorite one was the one that Blasco pointed out when the devil put MJF through a wall, didn't they?
And and there was no door in the office.
But there was no door to the office.
It's just a complete square with a window.
How did that guy get in there?
But see, to me, it's so bad. I think it's done on purpose.
No, I don't think it is.
See, because Charlie Ramone's the head of all of like production backstage, and that dude has like our sense of humor. So as soon as somebody probably put it out online that their walls look stupid, he's like, oh yeah, you want to see stupid? Yeah, watch this.
To be fair, I get it. I kind of want to do the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Overall production, the sound is weird sometimes. The camera
just like stupid things with production. Like, and I get it's live television. That is like super hard to do and pull off.
Yes.
And you're gonna get the run of the mill, like a mic's not gonna work or this isn't gonna work.
Occasionally, like the NFL will have a problem when they put it on camera, right? Yeah.
But like you could be watching a show, then like for some reason Excalibur comes over the PA in the live arena, and you're just like, what the hell was that? And or like you can't hear an interview that was pre-taped. Like, how does that even happen?
Or there's all kinds of times. I don't know if it happens on TBS or TNT, but when you watch the Triller, the Fight View sometimes there'll be a promo backstage. Someone's cutting a promo backstage, and in the background, very quietly, you hear like the director talking, being like, "Okay, 2 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, we're gonna do this." Like, why is that happening?
That's amazing.
And
that,
as someone who works in all this stuff, I'm
totally. I get that it's hard.
When the Hurt Syndicate debuted, you clearly, as Bobby Lashley was coming to the ring, you heard someone go 60 seconds. Like, what are you doing?
But see, things like that, of course, like those cameras do have mics on them, and you're going to hear people.
Well, but, it happens a lot.
It happens a lot. So I was just going to say,
cameras have mics on them, but thank you. No, yeah, like I'm as someone who works in this stuff, no, their cameras shouldn't have the mics on. That's actually very
right. And you can screw up every so often. If they did it once every 30 episodes, you'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
but it happens like every couple weeks. It's a lot.
Again, as someone who does this for a living, like it makes me insane because I'm like, how are you still doing this 5 years in?
And it is 5 years. It'd be one thing if it was like
5 years in. I'm like,
I feel like they're doing it more now than they were in the beginning.
And it seems to just be the TV shows. Like they never have the problem on pay-per-view, which would be the same crew.
Yeah.
Right. It's weird. It's very weird.
It is. Well, those are just my 2 complaints.
Okay. Is everybody ready? I'm going to do mine.
Yes.
You're going to all get very upset with me.
Here we go.
All right.
You're fine.
Mine is...
everyone. Oh, hold on. Everyone, if you enjoyed this, thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
And don't make it too long. I want to go to bed pretty soon.
All right.
Here comes the bitching. So if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much. Here we go.
3 hours are brought.
All right. Sorry. Here we go.
I have 2, and one I agree with you, Jericho. I just wrote Jericho. Like just
here we go.
The
we
fact
knew this. We knew this was coming.
It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't want his gimmick is I know you hate what I'm doing, so I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah. But it's not in a good way. It's like, I know you don't want to produce bad wrestling segments, but I'm going to purposely produce bad wrestling segments and that people don't like. Why? Why are you doing that? What are you doing?
That's not being self-aware. That's just being an ass.
I did like Ishii stalking him.
There are segments of it that
was the only,
funny sometimes, right?
That was the only thing I've seen from him in months that I enjoyed was stalking him.
He's the only person where he comes on and I immediately like, okay, I'm gonna look at my phone, I'm gonna go to the kitchen, I'm gonna do something else. Like every single time, without fail.
Again, I hate it. I told you from you guys when I was at the year 5 show, they had just coming off Ricochet and Ospreay. The place is like we were on our feet. We were just ready.
Yeah.
And they go to commercial and like Justin Roberts is out, he's cracking jokes. Then you see him putting the trees up and you just literally people started to sit down. People started to go to
you heard a whole groan.
Everything.
And then it took till the match before the main event. It took like an hour to get back what they had started. If you just throw another segment there,
and I don't even there's so many complaints about him. The fact that his feuds go on forever. The fact that
and they never end.
He says he's putting people over, but he never really puts anyone over. He kind of gets the last word every single time.
Action Andretti, believe it or not, is the only person that beat him and never had anything else to do with him.
Like I said, Hook beat him at the show that I went to in March. And that lasted until 2 pay-per-views ago. That's how long that went on for.
He's
and it's not like the Young Bucks annoy me with their characters, but their matches are good. The Young Bucks can wrestle. They're entertaining in the ring.
Jericho is an energy vampire.
Nothing about him is.
He's an energy vampire.
The fact that he hasn't been on for a while has been outstanding. It's been great. When he showed up on Dynamite, even in that pre-recorded thing, I was like, oh, damn it, he's going to show up again. I was enjoying him not being there. Full Gear didn't have him on it, and it was great.
Honestly, and the thing is, he's so good at wrestling. Dude, it seems his ego is just out of control. Dude, Go take 6 months.
I get
Go
where
on
he's coming from. That people are booing me no matter what, so I'm gonna act like a jerk so that they boo. So I'm gonna lean into it. But like, no, it's not.
But
no,
dude,
don't.
Like, go on vacation. Go tour with your shitty band. Like, come back in 6 months. People will be happy.
I don't think people would be happy anymore. I think people are just over
I think they wouldn't. Now I think it's been too long.
Yeah.
He's
6 months ago, people would. Yeah.
He squeezed too hard and it just go away.
Yeah.
But
he squeezed too hard, and he clearly has involvement, like influence backstage that he's wielding. You just know he is.
Just,
100%.
And it sucks. Like, it just sucks.
Well,
and like I always say, it blows my mind that he turned into the exact person that made him leave WCW.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Well, but speaking of that, I can go on my second thing. Speaking of someone turning into something they always hated.
Here we go.
My second one is, I still don't think they should have aired that CM Punk Jack Perry stuff.
Oh, no way.
They should have either.
Oh,
I don't think they should have aired it. I don't think they should have aired it. I have a full explanation. Then you can tell me why I'm wrong afterwards.
It's just 3 words.
Go on, boo.
Here's my explanation.
Go off.
Everything that happened with Punk in like 2022 and 2023 was just a constant distraction. Like, it was a constant distraction every week. What's Jericho saying about it? What are the Bucks saying about it? What's CM Punk saying about it? What is Meltzer saying? It was always, that's why AEW had to quote unquote restore the feeling, because they spent so long dealing with all of that stuff. And it split the fan base up. People who liked Punk, who liked the Elite. It split up the fans. It split up the locker room, apparently. Because, like, look at guys like Danhausen or Ricky Starks or Miro, who were all on Collision, and probably CM Punk guys who now kind of just quit on the company and disappeared and don't want anything to do. Like,
it honestly feels so middle school.
It was stupid, and it was annoying, and it wrecked everything. So stop talking about it. Like, don't bring it up. Don't mention it. You moved on. Like, last year they ended with the C2, and it was great, and it quote unquote restored the feeling, and the shows were good, and everything was going well. Why are you bringing it up again? It was a shitty time that nobody liked. Stop talking about it. We don't need to hear it again. Now, my other reasoning too, Punk basically did what we thought he did. He said he did it. He said he choked out Jack Perry backstage. And so you didn't gain anything from seeing it. You knew what happened. Everyone knew what happened. If it had been significantly worse than what we thought, fine. If you saw him hit Tony Khan in the face with a chair, fine. But like, we knew he attacked Jack Perry backstage. We knew he choked him. We knew who yelled at Tony Khan. Like, that was already well known.
Yeah.
So showing it didn't accomplish anything other than the fact that, that did happen. We knew that already.
Well, and that's
showing it killed Jungle Boy, and that's what Jack Perry needed.
But I don't think it did.
It worked out. To be fair, it worked out for Jack Perry pretty well.
It probably worked out for Jack Perry because Jack Perry did a good job with it.
Because it killed Jungle Boy. I don't think Jack Perry could have killed Jungle Boy. The fans loved it too much.
It hurt
him leaving. It hurt AEW for sure. It definitely hurt AEW. And it, I don't know. I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to incorporate into a storyline and say that, like, this is why the EVPs turned bad and this is why. But like, if we're just going by the problem AEW has is they assume everybody reads everything that's put on the internet.
Right. They're too into the internet.
Yes. And like,
they're nerds.
It is 2024 and people use the internet to find wrestling, but I'm sure there's a portion of the wrestling fan base that follows like AEW on Instagram or the wrestlers on Instagram. Right? But do they listen to Dave Meltzer or Sonra Sapp? Not everybody. Most people probably don't. Right? We do. But most people probably don't.
I ignore what you guys send because I don't care.
So if you're just going by what you see on TV, which is how I treat my wrestling shows, right? Like, if it happens on TV or on an official thing, if it happens on like AEW's official Twitter account or Instagram, sure, that counts. But just going by what you see on TV, how is Jack Perry the bad guy?
I feel
he's not. He's the scapegoat.
Tony.
But how is he the scapegoat? They never told you. How is he the scapegoat? Going based on what you see on television, how is he a scapegoat?
Because he was standing there and a guy came and grabbed him by his hair and beat the piss out of him.
That doesn't make him a scapegoat. That doesn't make him.
That
makes him a victim.
Tony is too
it doesn't make him a
into the internet, and he doesn't quite understand
he's
that everyone's not as a nerd like he is.
He's the scapegoat because he had to take all the heat. It didn't matter for Punk. It didn't matter for the Bucks.
You don't know that. If you only watch the shows, you don't know that.
But you should. You're smart enough to know that, the Bucks have been around for 1,000,000 years. Oh, Punk's been around for 1,000,000 years. Jack Perry's only been wrestling. He's known from PWG.
No, to be fair, I get what Rick's saying.
TV show to explain that.
All right, calm down, boys. I get what you're saying, Rick. Yeah, you're right. Like, if people who are just tuning into the TV show and don't follow the internet stuff, which
but those people aren't watching AEW. Those are WWE fans.
That's the problem. No, like you can't count on the people who know who Sean Ross Sapp is to be your audience, because that's a very small audience.
Right.
And that's what AEW wants. They don't want. Oh no, you definitely want that. You want it small. You don't want.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't if you're trying to build a freaking.
Then you lose me.
No.
Then you lose me.
But
if you're trying to build a company, you don't want to alienate 90% of people.
No, if you're trying to build a company through TV in this day and age, trying to build through TV, which is crazy because of streaming, no, you don't want people to have to get on the internet and find out all this.
The way I think it should work is the show should stand alone on its own. If you only watch the show, if you're one of the people who cares on the internet, throw in extra hidden stuff that's cool for internet people.
No,
but the main show and the storylines on the show, they should be self-contained. And if there's extra stuff that's involved, if there's two guys who were in a team 10 years ago and they show up in the ring together and the crowd pops because they're excited because they know these guys were in a team 10 years ago, that's cool.
And that'll make people who don't know that stuff go look. Why? Oh, why is everyone so excited?
But then you have
using the internet.
You have to explain it for the other people who what I mean? You have to tell people, oh, these guys were a team 10 years ago. That's why people think it's cool. It takes 5 seconds. It would have taken them a minute to explain, oh yeah, Jack Perry is mad because everyone in the locker room was upset with him after that happened, and he had to go to Japan to get the heat off of himself. It would have taken them 5 seconds to explain that. And they didn't. They just assumed you knew, which was dumb. Like, they should have told you.
You should have known. You're an adult. You're an adult. You should know. It's like people that choose to do drugs in their 50s. It's like, I don't feel bad for you.
But all of that stuff that you should have known, the people reading stuff on the internet, that's what killed all of this in the first place. That's what made it bullshit in the first place. The stuff with Punk and the stuff with the Elite. And if that's why when Punk got so mad at Hangman saying workers' rights, if you didn't know,
which
that line means
fair, he was 100% right.
Right. But if you didn't know anything, that line means nothing to you. Right? That's why Punk should have just ignored it, because that line to most of the audience, they didn't even care. It meant nothing.
See, that was that was gold.
Oh God, Hangman's the fucking best.
Yeah,
Hangman's the best, but they spend too much time going, you have to read 16 Meltzer newsletters and 5 Sean Ross Sapp accounts.
That's commitment. No, I'm all in. You got me. I want that. See, that's why I want it. It's elite. It's for just a certain amount of people. That's why I'm in.
But if
you're not going to do the work, watch the baby show. Like,
if you're going to have a show that's on national television, you need to tell people a little bit. Sometimes
this is where the criticism of AEW comes in, is that it's like, oh, you need to be a freaking big dork and read all this stuff and stuff. No,
that's why it's fun to be a part of it, because you are part of it.
However, you're trying to reach out to a general audience.
No, they're not.
Get them. Yes, but
they should be, because they're booking.
No. Yes, they should.
They're booking 20,000 seat stadiums and they're putting 2,000 people in them. They clearly want 20,000.
You can't
book smaller shows.
I get it, Blasco, but you can't have a successful company like this in this
1,000% you can. GCW.
No.
Yep.
No.
GCW doesn't have television deal at all. They're not on. They're not billion.
But they're a successful
company.
They're a successful company.
You have to bridge the guys like you who love the indie and stuff, but you have to bridge it to the common viewer. And
they clearly want. They clearly want to. They at one point, not now, but at one point, they wanted to reach a large audience because they were booking 20,000 seat stadiums,
and they were doing it
right. And then suddenly they started putting 2,000 or 3,000 people in there instead of 10,000 or 15,000, and now they've gone, oh, we need to book smaller buildings. But you can't say, oh, we never wanted to fill the 20,000 seat stadium because you booked it in the first place. You clearly wanted to do it, and now you can't.
I know it hurts for someone
fans didn't want that.
Yeah, I know it hurts as a hardcore. I know it hurts as a hardcore fan that you have to expand your horizons, but for them to survive, they have to expand their horizons, and
that's totally not true.
It is. That's how business works. Unfortunately,
I'll disagree. That's not true.
But if they
definitely not how business works.
Okay, if you're saying they don't want that, they don't want to attract a larger audience, then why are they trying? Why did they book NHL size arenas up until 2 months ago?
I'm saying
why were they booking NHL size arenas?
The fans don't want that.
Well, the fans, the diehard fans like you, they're not going to lose fans. You have 100%.
To. I would quit watching in an absolute second if they did something that I did not like. Simple. I know I'm an anomaly with that.
Oh well, you're a hardcore fan,
right?
And
I would go to a smaller company if it got too big. 100%, I'd start watching.
But I mean, they already are quote unquote too big. Not GCW. They sold out 50,000 seats in Wembley.
Yeah,
that's not an indie band.
They're still cruising. They're still doing what you want as an indie
absolutely.
Band. They're crushing it as an indie band, but to be fair, to sustain their success and stuff, they're not gonna do what you want, dude. Like they have to.
Then I'll go elsewhere.
Look at how big their roster is. They have say they have 100 people on their roster. If each of them makes $100,000, right? They need to make, or I can average $100,000. They need to make money back somehow. They're not going to make that money back being ECW and selling 100,000, 100 tickets per show. Like they're not going to make that money. They'll go out of business.
It's a business failure. It's a business.
I don't know. I'll just
disagree. If you want to be GCW and you want to sell, 1,000 tickets for a show or 500 tickets for a show, you don't have Adam Copeland and Sting and Bryan Danielson and those guys. You don't because you can't pay them.
You don't invest $1 billion into it. Well, yeah, but he has to make money back.
Even Tony Khan, who has billions of dollars,
that's what the NFL teams for.
No, but even Tony Khan's not going to lose. Tony Khan might lose a couple $100,000 on AEW every year, but he's not going to lose millions upon millions every single year. Like he's not.
Exactly, he's a businessman.
So he needs to go. He needs to make money somehow.
And he's making money now. He just signed a $2 billion deal with
TV. He didn't sign that deal to be ECW or GCW. He signed that deal to be the second biggest wrestling company in the world.
Yeah.
And until they do something stupid like go public or do anything like that, I'm in. But if they go public or go PG or take blood away, I'm out.
They're not
I'll go somewhere
that, but
anyway, my third point as to why I didn't like this is it made the Young Bucks thing just completely fell apart after this. Because they were, we have power. Look at all this power we have. We're going to do whatever we want. We're going to bring back Jack Perry. Oh, wait, we can't actually bring back Jack Perry until Tony Khan lets us. Oh, wait, Tony Khan's not in charge. Now Christopher Daniels is. Oh, wait, no, now Christopher Daniels isn't in charge. The Young Bucks are again until next week. Like, no, they made it all stupid and dumb, and I hated all of it.
I hated all of it. They fumbled all of that.
Oh, see, I thought it was fun.
And that all goes back to that.
I love the stupidity of it.
It's all dumb. It all goes back to airing that Punk thing, because until they aired that Punk thing, we're EVPs who have gone rogue and are going to do whatever we want. Then they aired that Punk thing, and then it blurred the lines too much of, is Tony... If Tony Khan is the one who made Jack Perry a scapegoat, then Tony Khan's really in charge. Then you're not really in charge. So then what are you doing? If you're EVPs, it made it all stupid.
It's really poorly done.
It was very poorly done. I think the whole story that they told with everything that they did, how Jack Perry was a scapegoat and how the Young Bucks lost that match to FTR because they were distracted and whatever. Tony Khan is a power hungry whatever. They could have done all of that without airing that footage.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have brought back all that nonsense and stupidity of the last year and a half.
I agree with that.
I feel like
fans
Tony
wouldn't have let Jack Perry.
No, yes, they could have done it. They could have done it so much better. Like
they could have had Jack Perry come back and be like, they could have just spent 2 seconds explaining why he was the scapegoat,
right?
And it would have worked out just as well because he did a good job with it. He legitimately did a good job with it. And I think he could have done
Perry's
it otherwise.
Been crushing it. He's been excellent. Like, you know,
see, the way AEW's audience is made up of two kind of related but somewhat distinct groups. AEW's audience is very, very hardcore wrestling fans who've never liked WWE or haven't liked WWE in recent times. People who've liked New Japan or Ring of Honor, the old Ring of Honor, or whatever. It's all those people, or it's people like me who liked WWE but didn't like what WWE was showing you at the time. So you don't want to watch them anymore.
I don't fit in either of those.
Yeah, you're an anomaly.
Hello, everyone. I'm the weirdo.
But I think their main audience is those two groups, right? Mm-hmm. And the CM Punk thing, why it worked so well when he showed up, is because he bridged those two groups. He bridged the... Because he had
both, and to be fair, you both were so freaking stoked for that. Oh my god,
I was stoked.
You
100%.
Both.
Ow. I will go down as I'm one of the last AEW fans left who still liked CM Punk. I'm sorry, but I do.
I care less what that dude does.
I had no idea. I was like, cool. I'm so happy for you both. Because
the reason it was such a big deal is because he spanned both those groups. He left WWE, so all the I'm sick of WWE people could join up with him.
Right,
he had the indie cred.
Went punk rock, but
he was in ROH. Yeah. He did the whole thing, so like ROH fans could like him. He bridged both those groups.
Right.
Him having a falling out with the indie group, the Young Bucks and Hangman and them were like the indie group. They were never in WWE. They came up through other companies and they were an indie type of group of people. Him having a following out with them split that audience again. So now it's just the indie group watching AEW. The other group, the we're sick of WWE group, either went back to WWE along with him or just stopped watching wrestling. It's the same thing.
I feel
like when it's the same thing when WWF bought WCW. They thought, we're going to have double the audience now. Nope. The WCW fans just didn't want to watch your show.
Right.
Well, I feel like I am just a little weirdo in the pack of wrestling because I stopped watching WWF. It was WWF back then in 2001. I didn't watch any wrestling until AEW debuted, and my boyfriend at the time was like, this is a new wrestling thing. I'm watching it because I love wrestling, and I watch it, and that was AEW, and I was like, oh man, this is cool. So I went from no wrestling from 2001 until AEW. So I'm a little weirdo.
For someone like that, because there are people like that who stopped watching, and you like watching wrestling on TV, but you're not the kind of person who's going to go scour internet forums and Reddit and Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer. You're not going to do that. Like, you might know some of that stuff because we'll tell you it, but otherwise you will never find that stuff out on your own.
No, I watched wrestling when I was a kid and loved it. Actually, that was the way my stepdad and I bonded, was watching wrestling. And I guess it maybe went, I don't know, It
So
went
then how do you feel when they like go into all the weird internet stuff?
No, I'm like, oh, well, I'm a huge hockey nerd, so I've been following hockey deeply and innately. So
I do think that stuff, that's why I think airing the Punk stuff was a bad idea, because it leaned too much into the internet base. And I'm sure some people tuned out, and you can't say they didn't, because you can look at a chart of you can look at a chart of ratings, you can look at a chart of attendance, you can look at a chart 100%. Of basically every metric they have. And
we can look at our metrics.
Right.
Well,
since around that time, people stopped watching. And there's a reason they stopped watching.
I came into AEW basically like, I watched WWF when it was still WWF and Attitude Era, and it was a dope and stuff. And then I started watching AEW fresh, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
But see, that audience, your audience, you could just stop watching again. Like if you weren't enjoying the shows, you're not a diehard fan who watches. You could just stop. And just stop. And you don't, and they could turn you off by doing something. They could turn you off. And I think they did turn people off. There's people who thought it was cool and tuned into it and watched it. And then were like, oh, this is actually cool. I like it. Oh, but there's all this weird backstage nonsense and internet stuff. And I don't understand it. And I don't want to read 10 forums. And why are people fighting backstage? And I don't want to hear about any of that. I don't care. I'm going to watch another sport. I'm going to watch another show.
Right.
Good.
But
that's not good.
But that's not
totally
good. If you want AEW to exist as a company, that's not good.
You are gatekeeping.
You'll pick up someone else. 100% I'm gatekeeping. Yeah, I was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
But they're not going to pick up anyone else, because who are they going to pick? If you're a new fan and you tune in and you have to know 16 years of lore and 5 other internet websites, who's going to start?
The internet exists.
At this point.
I mean, it's just like if you choose to, like if you started to watch Star Wars right now, there's
no, but you can watch Star Wars and never read anything on the internet and still follow Star Wars.
Not really, but kinda.
If I watched, I've never seen. If I put on Star Wars tomorrow, I could follow the entire plot of Star Wars without reading anything on the internet. I might have to watch 10 movies, but I could do it without reading anything on the internet.
Kinda.
No, but you could. That's how people did it before the internet.
No. I'm talking about with like Star Wars is a bad example because there's so much content. Not like it doesn't even involve there's comics, there's video games. Like if you want the whole story, it's beyond media.
You don't have to have the whole story. You can just watch the movies and get it.
Yeah.
To a point.
You have.
See, and again, I picked something, and again, I picked something that I know way too much about.
Oh, say it's hockey. Say it's hockey, right? And we're all hockey fans.
Yeah.
You want to start watching. You've never watched the Penguins before, and you want to start watching. You don't have to know anything about the Penguins previous to this year to watch the Penguins. You can just watch it.
Right.
That's how people start watching stuff.
Yeah.
But then you go back and you start at the beginning and catch up.
But you don't have to. You don't have to.
Why wouldn't you?
You
Are
can
you
just
going back to 1968 when they premiered or whatever? No, you're not.
You can just start watching from today.
Yeah, you're going back to when they got Lemieux.
You don't even have to do that. You can just watch from today and not have to know anything else.
Right, but that's dumb. But
that's how I'm saying AEW should. That's what I'm saying AEW should be. You can just watch the show starting today or whenever you start watching, and follow 100% of things only watching the shows. If you want more, if you want to know backstories, if you want to see older matches, if you want to know behind the scenes details, you can if you want to, but it shouldn't be required to enjoy the show.
And we're in a time where you can easily look that up. I mean,
if you want to.
We were younger. You couldn't get on YouTube and look at WWF stuff.
What I'm saying is I don't think you should have to. I think if you want to because it's interesting to you, you should, but you shouldn't have to enjoy the show. You could just not do it and still watch the program.
But the current storyline stuff should catch you enough where you don't need to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's
where I think they falter a lot.
Yeah. Well,
see,
and to be fair,
that whole conversation makes me sad.
Why?
Because it means I'm eventually going to have to stop watching AEW now.
No.
100,000%. You don't know.
Because I think they're leaning into the you audience. They're not leaning into the me or Biddy audience. They're 100% leaning into the you audience.
Well, that doesn't make me sad. Yeah, that doesn't make me sad. Then.
No.
You'll be 100% happy with it. I might not be, but like I think you would be.
Yeah, like that's why I like it.
It makes me think back of when I first got into wrestling. I watched it a bit, but the first time I got into wrestling was when my mom got with my stepdad, to be fair, and he's like, wrestling's kind of fun. Let's watch it. And we didn't have the internet then.
I think it's really cool if you watch a thing and you like it so much that you want to learn more about it and you want to look it up and you want to learn the history and you want it. That's really cool. That's awesome. Like I'm going through that with my kid. He likes hockey and now he's going back and he's learning old stuff. That's really cool. Yeah. I just think it shouldn't be required. It should be something that you want to do because you like it so much. You shouldn't have to do it to enjoy the thing.
Everything that you need to know should be presented to you in the
right. And then if you want
show they present
if you want more stuff, then you can look it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they've gone too far away from that. So now they actually have it. Now they're doing better. I really think
they should. Like they're gonna lose their audience if they don't.
And you can say all you want that you want it to be small and you want it to be cool and you want it to only cater to like a niche hardcore audience.
10,000%.
But they're gonna go out of business if they do that.
Yeah, that's not how it works. No, it's not how it works.
Or they're gonna have to let go all like how they just signed Bobby Lashley. If they're selling 500 tickets for a show, they're not signing Bobby Lashley next time.
No.
Like that,
they're also not going to just be selling 500 tickets.
No, but I'm saying they sell like 1,000 or 2,000, and they used to sell 10, right? So if they do keep dropping,
I get it. You want it to be a little small, cool punk rock thing.
Yeah,
and
2,000%.
That's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable at its size. If they want to do that, then they have to be smaller. Then they have to then they have to sign free agents. They have to not sign billion-dollar TV deals.
And they're not going to do that as they should.
The fact that it's going to be on Max is going to expose it to a wider audience because people who don't have cable are going to start watching. People who don't even watch wrestling are going to see that it's on Max.
Oh,
like, what is this? But then they have
dope, and that's awesome.
But then they have to make it so that those people aren't completely lost when they watch the show.
Right.
But they also don't even have to have those people watch it.
No, but they want those people to watch it.
They do, but it's just going to be there. That's the
it's. But the way those
because they're going to make their money off of selling tickets and pay-per-views right now, mostly, right? So
a lot of their merch. I mean, people do make fun of them being a t-shirt company, but a lot of it is
So if they're going to be on Max and more people are going to get exposed to them, they want those people to order the pay-per-views and buy the merchandise and pay money to go to the shows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like I understand
if they want those people to do that, they have to make it so that they're not completely lost when they turn on the TV. They have to make it so that they can follow along.
I agree. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree. That's not what I want by any means whatsoever.
But I'm just saying that what you want is not AEW then. What you want, I mean, a company the size of AEW. What you want is a company the size of GCW or something like that.
No, I mean, like New Japan's equal in size.
But New Japan that's why New Japan didn't sign Will Ospreay or Okada or probably not Mina Shirakawa because they're not big enough. They don't have the money. Like they're not going to spend the money.
Right, exactly. And Tony Khan being a billionaire like has a lot to do with that.
Right, but I'm just saying you can't have a small niche, cool underground indie company that
when a billionaire owns it. You can't.
That can also sign Bobby Lashley and Adam Copeland and outbid WWE for Will Ospreay.
When you own a football team, you can also do that.
But he's not going to lose money indefinitely.
Oh,
forever.
I know. I totally agree. But he also has that freedom that most promoters don't have.
Sure. But he does eventually need to make some money.
And he is. I mean, he just signed a $2 billion contract.
Not lose money.
Right. And I don't think they are. I mean, they just signed $2 billion to be on Max, or 2.4, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
But they didn't do that to be GCW. They did that to be the next biggest wrestling company in the world after WWE.
And that's fine as long as they keep it what they have. If they make any stupid change to go towards the masses, I'm out.
But I'm not saying, okay, when Punk showed up 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when Punk showed up and Danielson showed up and Adam Cole showed up, did you like the shows?
Yeah.
So then why couldn't they just do that?
I'm fine with it. Like, I have no complaints. I just don't want it to change.
But that's the going towards the masses that they want. They want that. Like, Punk was brought in because he could sell out a stadium.
Oh yeah,
people.
100%, and that's totally fine. I have nothing against that. I don't want the old WWE. We're going PG. We're doing this bullshit.
No one says those are their only options. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying they have to be PG or they have to dumb it down. I'm just saying they have to put on a product that you don't have to follow Dave Meltzer to enjoy.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but disagree. I don't know. Like, I find that to be way more fun than I don't want to be spoon-fed anything. I want to do work.
But I'm saying you can't. You should be. That should always be an option. Obviously, if you want to read stuff online and you want to do what, like I do it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, it's fun. It is. It's 100. It is. I'm just saying you shouldn't have to do it. They should present a show that doesn't require you to do that, because you might want to do it, but someone who just watches the show when they're like, you watch it every Wednesday and Saturday or whatever. Like, some people don't. Some people are just, if I'm home on Wednesday, I'll watch Dynamite. Right. I might be busy. Maybe I'm not going to watch it. Those people aren't going to spend the time to read that stuff.
And no offense, but do you want those people there? I don't.
Yes.
No, I don't. 100% don't.
Because them being there, if the show is still good, them being there doesn't make the show not good.
Yeah, but see, it's me. It goes back to me in music. If you're not 100% all in, excuse the pun, I don't want you there. But that's just me as a person.
But when they had 50,000 people in Wembley, do you think every single one of them is a diehard U fan?
Oh no, definitely. But a lot of people travel.
Yeah, but that made it that having having a wrestling show with 20,000 or 30,000 or 40,000 people is more fun than a wrestling show with 2,000 people.
I disagree and say
to watch on TV. To watch on
TV. I was gonna say be in there. I'd rather be there. Be like
to watch on TV.
Yeah, to watch on TV. Yeah, it's a spectacle. It's awesome.
Yeah, but that's what they should be aiming for. They should be aiming for a show that anyone can pick up and watch, anyone can enjoy. And if you want to watch more, if you want to know more, if you want to be cool and know all the insider stuff, that's always a choice for you. They don't have to be PG. They don't have to be WWE. But they also don't have to be, unless you're reading Sean Ross Sapp every day, you're not going to know what's going on. Like, that shouldn't be where they are either. Anyway, it's been an hour and a half. So
yeah, and I'm really tired. I haven't talked for like 20 minutes because I did fall asleep once. when you guys thought I said something and I burped and was staring at the wall, fell asleep, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think Biddy left.
Sick.
My goal was accomplished. I warned you all half an hour ago that this was going to go on for a while and you would all hate me. So
I don't hate you.
You could not say I did not warn you. So yeah.
I think it's awesome that I told off half the audience saying I don't want you there. That's people probably look at me a lot differently now.
No, I honestly think the AEW audience, the one that they're catering to, is more a you audience. And
I'm glad you say that because I was sad about 10 minutes ago.
I hope it works out.
I was like, oh man,
I like AEW.
Yeah,
I hope it works out.
I'm gonna have to stop watching this show now. It's gonna suck.
I think I think their biggest, like, the reason they're only selling 2,000 seats now instead of 10,000 seats is because of that. And I hope you're right that Tony Khan is just like, oh, I'm going to keep spending money on it.
100%.
I don't care. Because I hope so. I just don't know if he will.
Oh, he definitely will. And like, I mean, now he's playing with house money. I mean, first off, when you start the company and you own a football team, I mean, I don't know what the Jaguars are worth, but I'd say, we'll look it up. I'd say over 20 billion. Right. They're pretty. Right. So you figure the family in itself is probably worth at least half of that. Yeah. So if you come in with a $10 billion, well, we'll even say we'll give Tony 2 because it's his dad's company. Right. So if you come in with a $2 billion start, hold on, I'm looking up Jacksonville.
Like, I will say AEW has been significantly more successful than anyone thought
anybody
AEW
else
was going to be. Yes, 100%. Definitely they have been. And I sound like I'm ragging on them all the time, but they're the next most successful wrestling company in 18 weeks or something. They're going to pass Nitro. Like, they're very successful. Yes. So I'm not saying that they're not.
Oh, no. I knew like totally what you're saying. I'm just saying what, most wrestling companies that start, people were taking out a loan.
Right.
And, like, he started with money.
Right.
It's not telling me what they're worth.
No, it's fine. It's a lot of money.
But yeah, going like
it's that was my point. A yacht that has a Wikipedia page.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right.
Well, I'm just glad that some little rich boy took his daddy's money and used it for good.
But when the uprising comes, sorry, he's still a billionaire.
Yeah. Sorry, Tony.
So we love you, but you're still a billionaire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you did
On that
good.
note, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next week. Keep engaging. We are at Elite City Pod on all social media. Check out our YouTube.
Next week we're doing our predictions for 2025.
Yes,
so
next week is predictions, and I'll say I got one right from last year. I don't know what my second one was, but I got one right.
Awesome.
And so we will see y'all next week. So until then, later.